morning. Aren't you all lucky to hear us? Ah, so anyway, here we are once again, and hopefully Skype willing. Uh, Doc Brad Mulder on that end, and Uncle Chuckie here. And we're going to try not to bore you to death. We may succeed. We don't promise, but we may succeed. So, how are you tonight?
I'm doing fine, my friend. Doing fine. It
You're
was a
doing
little
fine.
yeah. It was a little chilly today. I kind of I caught a little bit of a chill over there on the golf course while I was playing out in the sunshine. But other than that, it was okay. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, it was about 60
Well, it's
degrees.
always chilly here, so it's not a
Yeah, no, yeah,
surprise.
no, yeah, no joke. Yeah, no, it's not chilly.
Yep.
It's freezing. Yeah. So,
Well, it's not freezing anymore. We're actually above freezing.
oh, really? What are you now?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
33 degrees, something like that. 34
Well,
degrees.
the high today was, I think, 39.
Oh, geez, that's spring.
Hey,
Yeah.
the woolly mammoth are heading back north again.
Oh yeah. The glaciers are
Yeah, the
melting.
glaciers are receding. The mammoths are
Yeah.
heading back north. So the folks up north, they can have the pleasure of watching their pickup trucks being mated with.
Oh geez. Yeah. Yeah. Uh.
Well, mammoths are very nearsighted, and they find pickup trucks attractive for some reason.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 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 Oh, what do you think of the Bigfoot stuff? I'm just curious.
I try not to.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Whenever I think of Bigfoot, I think of my
Yeah.
stepson.
Yeah. I'm thinking about going out to. They're having a little Bigfoot get together out there in Seattle, Washington, toward the end of April, and I'm seriously considering going out there and selling a radionics device specifically designed to attract cryptids.
Attract.
Bigfoot or Sasquatch. Yeah, I figured, what the hell? I was able to use it to.
You never know. I mean, it might be kind of fun, or better yet, attract the Bigfoot to the neighbors.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun. But yeah, I figured if I could use this stuff for UFO activity, what the hell? I'll give it a try with the Bigfoot character.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's one of those things
Well, I
where
think it'd be kind of fun. The neighbors are having something in their backyard, and all of a sudden, a Bigfoot joins them.
yeah, I mean, the UFO stuff. I believe that we have UFOs because I've seen one up close and personal over near Fayetteville, North Carolina. Did I tell you the story before, Chuck? I don't know if talked about it on the air or not, but
Maybe I know the story, and maybe it's probably best that we don't.
why?
Why?
Hell, yeah.
I
What do you think? It's
don't
boring?
know. What?
Okay.
It's kind of fun. Let people wonder, what did Brad see? And what did Brad see that's so mysterious that they can't talk about?
Well, I would say, let's just put it this way. The characteristics of this particular anti-gravity ship had all the markings of U.S. military origin.
Come on, tell the story. Well,
Okay.
tell
All
the
right.
story.
All right. Okay. Fayetteville, North Carolina. Now, you got to remember, this place is probably about 3 or 4 miles to a major military base and airfield. I mean, this Fort Bragg. It's like a big, a major. It's a major base. Anyway, so I'm driving through downtown Fayetteville. This had been about 1993, and I see basically coming about 200 feet above the main street of Fayetteville. I see this what looked like a 747, and I was thinking, okay, is this guy landing somewhere? Is he about ready to crash? What's going
He's
on
going to
here?
land on you. What more do you want?
Yeah, exactly. And the thing about it is, there was no noise, absolutely silent. I'm like, okay, this is very strange here. I mean, so I'm thinking, all right, even with the engines cut off, you're going to hear the whining of the turbines. You're going to hear something. I'm assuming. And but what happened was
I
this
would
thing.
hope so.
Yeah, this thing. I was to the passenger side, I guess, of this vehicle. I guess you could call it the passenger side. Anyway, I'm looking up, and I'm just seeing a part of it because it's so massive, and it's painted in Desert Storm camo beige. I don't know if you remember, like when they did everybody was in beige.
Yeah,
back
they
then.
all wore those.
Yeah, it was painted in that.
beige
And
outfits. Yes.
yes, and I could see on the back of it, I could see what looked like a shield with a couple of sabers or lances or whatever it was, and it was It was a blue with a white trim. It was a blue background with white trim, and I'm thinking, okay, this is interesting. And this thing was massive, Chuck. I mean, it had been bigger than a football field. And somebody told me, get the hell out of here. So I'm just speeding,
Yeah.
I'm speeding along, and this thing kind of bears off. I think it was toward the south, so it's going away from me. And as I leave Fayetteville, I see it hovering above an apartment building, and it's bigger than the apartment building. Now, here's the thing that makes me think, okay, this is one of ours. Number one, next to a major Air Force base or military base, Army base,
Mm-hmm.
airborne, air rangers. I mean, the hardcore guys. All right. Number two, painted desert camo beige. Number three has what looks like a military insignia on the back of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is in my mind. That tells me this is not like the Little Green Men. This is U.S. military.
Or it could be our allies among the little green men. I mean, who knows? You know what I mean?
Who knows? Who knows? But anyway, that's
who knows what kind of agreements we've got?
Yeah. But anyway, I mean, this is something that happened to me over 25 years ago. I remember it like it was yesterday. It made it was.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, it's not something you're going to forget.
Yeah, but the thing about it is, okay, I believe in UFOs because I've seen one. This Bigfoot thing, I have not seen one, and I have to say, some of the people who are into the Bigfoot phenomena, if you want to put it that, if that's a good word for it, they are some strange characters.
Yes, some of them you can't tell the difference between them and the Sasquatch. They kind of look alike.
I was thinking it. You said it. I mean, that was a unique little thing there. But yeah, the point of it is, I figured, what the hell, Washington State. I've never been there before, out in the West Coast, and what have you. And I have an opportunity to go there. I haven't, I kind of said yes, but I haven't given like a full 100% confirmation on this thing. But yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to doing the end of April. Just so if any of our lovely listeners out there on the West Coast, you'll know where I'll be.
I've known people from Washington State, and they tend to be very eccentric. Of course, they don't be what you expect.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That sounds like us and our customer base.
Except for some relatives I had that lived in Spokane.
Oh, really?
They were not eccentric. They were just idiots.
Oh, okay. Oh, really?
Yes. Oh, God.
Related to you? And
they descended upon us when I was 18, and I was never so happy to see people disappear back into the North Woods.
Oh.
Yes.
And how were you related to them? Through your mom?
They were my mother's uncle.
Oh, okay. All righty. Okay.
Yeah.
And did he have any offspring?
Unfortunately, he did. There were 3 daughters. And it's very, and they were the most unappealing young women I ever encountered in my life.
Oh, okay. Well,
not only that, but they were relatives, so that.
Yeah, they were cousins.
Now, normally that wouldn't bother me. I don't care, but hey, I never had a sister, so what do I care, right?
Yeah.
That wouldn't bother me. I got no big, problem with that. If people want to, be English and point their cousins, it's not my concern. Yeah, but these, I mean, they were so utterly, completely obnoxious.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't want anything to do with them. I wanted nothing to do with them.
Oh, okay. So, as a youngster, did you go up to your room and get one of your machines out and start?
No. I was 18 years old. They didn't get near anything. They were around my age. But like I said, I just, no way. Keep me away from these people.
Oh, okay. All right. So
I had things to do, and if I didn't have things to do, I found things to do.
Oh, okay. We'll be making up like magic sigils to destroy.
No, I wasn't doing anything. I was just, they're going to go back in a couple days. Good, let them go. Yeah. Goodbye.
Okay.
Good riddance.
Oh, jeez.
Good riddance to bad rubbish. Let Uncle Frank drive another train off a bridge. Maybe this time they won't recover him.
Oh man. Oh well. Hey, like I said, I don't know anybody from Washington State, but I'm sure I will if I go up there. I'll know somebody after the trip. It just seems to work out like that. But no, it's like I said, it's something out of character for me, and kind of expanded my horizons a little bit. I mean, I told you about the time that I wanted to do a little experiment, and I was talking to Josh. I said, Josh, I want to talk to a real honest to God witch. And Josh said, what? I said, I want to talk to a real honest to God witch. I have sort of a theory here
That
about
shouldn't be
magic
hard to
and
find.
radionics. Huh?
That shouldn't be hard to find.
Yeah, exactly. But I've
They're
been
all over the place now. I mean,
yeah. Well, this one had her own coven, and she was, she ran this coven, this type of thing, and I won't give her name on the air because I just don't want anybody looking her up.
No, you don't have to.
Yeah, because save yourself a lot of heartache, and don't do this. Don't do this. And and I was talking. I went ahead and met her. I was going to meet her husband, which I wish I had. Her husband's a really cool guy, but she plays the part. She plays the part, and I have to say that if I had to do it over again, I would have not have made that phone call. I would not have. I would not have met up with her because I have to say it was a lot of drama. I sensed a lot of manipulation and a lot of alcoholism.
You seem to attract people like that.
And I'm not a big drinker. What the hell is
I
it,
mean,
man?
what is this about you that you attract all these drunks?
And I don't drink. I mean, I hardly drink, Chuck. I mean, really, I probably would have. I think the last time I had alcohol, and it wasn't. I think actually sat down and had a drink, and felt like I had a buzz. Was when I was up there with Josh and you up in Milwaukee. Yeah, because Josh and I were at this when he came in from the airport. He and I went over to this bar, and which is shocking, right? But they served food. It was about 1:30 in the morning your time, and I'm just like I'm freaking exhausted, and so Josh and I go over there. And I think that was the last time I actually got a little tipsy. Was hanging around with Josh, which is yeah. So yeah, there you go. What can I say?
Yeah, well, you're stuck in a bar. That's what's going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. They got
I
this little
gave you the name of a good restaurant that's open 24 hours.
Well, I'm just telling you, this
I
is.
know, I understand. Some
Yeah,
people just have no taste in food. We
yeah,
have to admit.
yeah, and then and of all things, we started talking about Jeffrey Dahmer to the
Well, of
bartender.
course. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, and then there was this woman down at the end of the bar. She was there by herself. I guess she was like, looking on doing her texting or whatever on her smartphone, and then she's overhearing the conversation. And she starts saying, "Oh yeah, I live like 2 blocks from one of his houses where from where he used to live at." And she's telling us about
mhm,
the bar and all this stuff, and that he used to pick up all his special dates.
whatever. Yes,
Yeah, and so yeah, so
his
there
snack for
you
the night. Yes.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, his snack for the night. But yeah, that was an interesting little excursion up there, and
Yeah, I
but
remember hearing about
yeah, yeah, I got to talk to you, meet you, and meet the lovely Donna Casamano, and
it.
yeah, and got to stay there in a conference room with you guys till 4 o'clock in the morning.
Or even, oh my God, that actually damn near killed me. It so screwed up my insulin.
Oh man, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, normally there's one insulin I take at midnight, and I
Oh,
didn't have it with me because I thought we'd be home by midnight, and
uh huh.
nope. So we got in like what was it, 3:30 in the morning, and I had to quick take my long lasting insulin because like oh boy, So I was off for a couple of days, trying to get myself back on schedule, and
Yeah.
oh,
Ah. Oh well, hey, but uh, yeah. I mean, you really, you're pretty diligent about that stuff, about
I
your
have to
excellence.
be.
Yeah. Oh
I don't
boy.
get a choice in that matter. I really
Yeah,
don't. You know, I have to
yeah,
take
yeah,
that seriously.
yeah. You really don't have much of a choice, like you said. Yeah.
When
Oh boy.
when you don't have a pancreas
Yeah. Huh.
at all,
Yeah.
you have to do things like that.
Yeah. You're right. You're right. That's exactly correct. You have to. That is considered a very important organ.
Yeah, and people actually, when people find out I don't have a pancreas, they're very shocked because you're not supposed to be able to live without a pancreas,
Uh-huh.
and I managed somehow.
Yeah, yeah. How long has it been since you've been honest?
That was August 18th, 2002.
2002. Oh shit! So it's been almost what 17 years?
It's been a while. Hmm.
Almost about 16 and a half years. Wow,
Yep, my
wow.
body decided I had lived too long, and my pancreas threw a hissy fit and dissolved itself.
Jeez. Well, I mean, you're probably the oldest living Casamano in your family, aren't you?
I don't know. I have a couple cousins that might be still living, and they would be some years older.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, you told me you pretty much you made it further than you thought you would.
Well, actually, considering the circumstances, yeah, making it actually to 2003 was make longer than I thought I would.
Yeah.
Longer than
I'll take.
everybody else thought I would too.
Oh, jeez, man.
See, prayers don't get answered.
Oh man, point taken.
God looked down and said, "I like him. You shut up."
uh, yeah. What was the sergeant in Full Metal Jacket that says God loves Marines because he keeps heaven filled with fresh new souls? Uh, oh man. Oh God. But yeah. What can I say? Oh, speaking of, yeah, we're going to talk about military history here. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, you may not realize this, but Chuck has an actual degree in history. He actually went.
Actually, but that's beside the point. Yes,
Yeah.
it's a subject about which I am supposed to know something.
Yeah. And
Whether I actually do or not is another matter.
well,
But
yeah,
I
true.
am supposed to.
Yeah, your knowledge is only as good as your research, Chuck. So I'll let everybody fill in the blanks there. So, but yeah, you and I were talking the other night. I've been really fascinated with the book by Sun Tzu. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Called
Art
The
of
Art of
War,
Yeah,
yes.
The Art of War. And I think there's a couple of valuable quotes to this day I've memorized uh, uh, from him. And like, for example, a tactic perceived ceases to become a tactic. And when you are weak, appear strong. But when you are strong, appear weak. And these are a couple more things that always stuck in my mind. Uh,
Actually, probably a couple of good things he said in the book.
oh, okay. So I basically picked
Well,
up
here's the
the.
thing, of course, when you read something like Sun Tzu, you got to remember when it was written and who it was written for.
Mhm.
And so here you have a man who we're pretty sure exists, but we're not totally sure.
Mhm.
Uh, Writing with a bunch of stories around and writing this manual for essentially an ancient Chinese army around the time of, say, in the West you've got Alexander the Great, Hannibal, Scipio Africanus. I mean, real generals. Okay, and here you've got this sort of unknown fellow named Sun Tzu, who's only known for his book, and a whole bunch of even more unknowns who may have opposed him. All right,
Mhm.
a general's only as good as his opponents. Okay,
Okay.
so let's take one of our great ones, Arnold Schwarzkopf. Was that what his first name was? Anyway, Schwarzkopf, the guy in the Gulf War.
Yes.
Okay, who was his opponent?
Saddam Hussein.
Saddam Hussein, one of the best generals of World War One. Seriously,
Okay.
if it had been World War One, Saddam Hussein would have been great. Problem is, he wasn't fighting World War One. So yeah, Schwarzkopf could have been a very great general, but if you judge him by his opponent, a mediocre general who's stuck with Soviet equipment. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so the question of greatness. You have this nice textbook war, and naturally, military academies will teach it forever. But consider the opponents. Okay. Sun Tzu makes a glaring mistake in The Art of War.
Okay.
From Western eyes, an absolutely glaring mistake. He says that, about the size of armies, the larger army will always win. If that were true, Israel would be in the middle of the Atlantic.
Correct. Yeah.
Alexander would have been chased back to the Mediterranean.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not true. He's simply wrong. But in his context, and given his opponents, it made perfectly good sense to him.
Mm-hmm.
He never faced Alexander.
Right.
And that's, of course, that's one of the problems we deal with military history, is who's against who.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for example, if you're facing an army like during the Revolutionary War, we had everybody's straight line, straight rows, and, and they fire
That's
shots.
the only way you could hit anything.
Yeah, exactly. Or if you're guerrilla warfare, where you're just basically living off the land and using your enemy's weaknesses against them, and just using simple technology, simple tactics to maim them and slow them down and demoralize them. Yeah, I mean, that's an entirely different set of rules for warfare.
That's the point. Yeah, I mean, there's so many variables, to say nothing of dumb luck.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Dumb luck plays a big role.
Oh yeah. What did Napoleon say? He said if he had his choice between a good general or a lucky general, he'd take the lucky general every time.
He said, give me generals that are lucky.
Yeah.
Abraham Lincoln said, give me generals who can drink. So, Bryant, he has done us no good. I need a drunk.
God. Oh, man.
I want a general who's so drunk most of the time he don't know that he's lost.
Jeez.
He'll just keep going.
Yeah, then you get one that winds up being the president of the United States.
Yeah.
And
hey, Lincoln was dead. Somebody had to take the job.
Yeah, that's where we got the lobbying started, and basically.
Oh no, they had lobbying. They had lobbying since George Washington.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean that was always.
Yeah, true. I mean, hell, that's been around since government. Yeah.
Yeah, you have government, you got lobbies. I mean, that's going to happen.
Right. But yeah, I always wondered about that, and so basically, that's pretty much it. In your mind, what was probably the greatest advice that he gave in that book? Then we'll move on. I'm just curious. In your mind, what do you think was the best thing?
Okay, it's been years, so I don't know the exact saying, but basically, the best way to win a war is to persuade the enemy they will lose before they start it.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah, it's not even the best way to win a war is not to have one.
Yeah, never fire a shot.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, jeez. In a weird kind of way, with the Cold War, I guess that's kind of how.
The Cold War strategy, yeah.
Yeah.
What was it? The TV series Wings. Uh, about the program about the B-36 and said it won its war without firing a single shot.
Huh. Yeah.
Well, after the fall of the Soviet Union, the Russian general commanding in Berlin, who had been commanding in Berlin, gave an interview and he said, during the Cold War, we had overwhelming superiority in men, tanks, artillery, and maybe aircraft. Aircraft was iffy. Our aircraft was so much better, but that's because. But men, but in the face of nuclear weapons, none of that meant a thing.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree.
Yeah, I mean, that was as simple as that.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and so once when it came down to a nuclear standoff, nobody was going to do anything.
Yeah.
So you have that wonderful moment in Berlin in August of 1961, where you've got Russian tanks and American tanks like 10 yards apart.
Right.
And nobody is breathing.
Oh,
except the civilians standing on the street corner watching this.
Jeez.
You look at the photograph of it, and there are these dumb civilians.
Oh.
And they're standing on the street corner watching the two armies facing.
Oh, basically. So you got a giant can of gasoline there, and you're just waiting for somebody to light the match.
Yeah. Basically, it was all it would have taken was for one junior officer to get nervous.
Yeah.
Someone to get nervous and pull the trigger. And that would have been it.
Wow.
But nobody did. Nobody did.
Yeah, that is some interesting stuff. I mean, I guess we've had standoffs before. Like Christian.
That was the standoff of all standoffs.
Okay, now what about the Cuban Missile Crisis?
Oh, the Cuban Missile Crisis is horribly overrated.
Okay.
I mean, I was alive during that. I was like 12, 13 years old. And no one actually expected a war to start over that. I mean, if they did, they weren't around me. I know that.
So it's just basically propaganda.
Basically, what happened was already gone through Berlin.
Okay.
Berlin had been like a year and a half before, 2 years before.
Right.
And actually, a year before, think about it, because Cuba was 1962. And, nothing had happened.
Okay.
So, we've been through this before. Let's not get weird about it.
Oh, I thought Robert Kennedy was.
Of course, naturally, the media people make this big thing about it, and they're always coming up with these stories about how it almost turned into World War III. No, it didn't.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to, make JFK look a little bit better.
Well, yeah, it takes some. The more people know about him, the more work it takes.
Oh man, I never could figure out what was the mystique about the Kennedy clan. I mean,
I never could either. I mean, who cares about these people?
There were a bunch of alcoholics. I mean, heck, JFK was on crystal meth half the day. Half the time.
I'm not sure exactly. I don't know if it was crystal meth, but I mean, he had this back problem.
Yeah.
Okay. He had heroically injured his back during World War II when his PT boat was heroically running away from the Japanese and heroically ran aground on an island or something.
Right.
Yeah. And so that's how he had his back injury. That's why he had the rocking chair and everything. And because he was in considerable pain, well, they prescribed all kinds of medication for him, including steroids. So during the Cuban Missile Crisis, the President of the United States, the man who had his hand on the button, was on steroids.
Oh, God. I know how they mess with your brain.
I honestly don't know how we survived that period.
Yeah. And then you
I
have,
really don't know.
yeah, then you got his trusting brother, Robbie, Bobby Kennedy, giving him advice. So you know that we're in the,
Yeah,
pretty
that was
great
a
hands.
oh, that, yeah.
Yeah, talk
And
about
of
a
course,
brain
at the
trust.
time, you have to understand, at the time, comics were brutal about the Kennedy and the Klan thing.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, I mean, people think that Trump gets picked on. You, if you go on YouTube and you look up The First Family, which was
Uh-huh.
a satiric record done by a fellow who had a short-lived career doing a very good imitation of John Kennedy, named Vaughn Meader. And that thing is vicious,
Wow.
absolutely vicious. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
God.
there were, there were a lot of people who were not impressed with John Kennedy, my grandfather in particular. Um, when Kennedy was assassinated, my grandfather, who was approximately my age now,
Mm.
same age as me now,
Oh, he's about
actually
90.
danced. He was dancing around the living room.
Uh, oh, geez. Oh, doing the jig.
He was
Oh.
doing, yeah, I mean, he was doing this weird dance around the living room. My grandmother was on the phone laughing her head off. You should see Ace. He's going crazy.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. And now he's considered one of the greatest presidents that ever lived, and only if he could have finished his term. I mean, I guess people have short memories. It's propaganda. You got Walter Cronkite out there,
It was all propaganda. It really was. Kennedy was, not that popular.
Uh huh.
There was a very serious question as to whether in '64 he would lose to Goldwater.
Right.
He was massively ridiculed for a lot of his ideas. Yes, everybody was very happy about the way he handled the Cold War.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't particularly happy about the way he handled Cuba.
Mm-hmm.
There was a thing called the Bay of Pigs that he blew. Um, but they basically, as far as foreign policy was concerned, yeah, he had a lot of support. Domestically, he was seriously disliked. Uh, he never got a thing through Congress except the defense budget.
Huh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he had a horrible time with Congress, even though he had a significant Democrat majority in both houses.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Uh,
I mean, the other side of the coin is, we got the Bush family. I didn't realize how big the Bushes were.
mhm.
I mean, I didn't realize,
Well, they
how.
were all behind the scenes. You have to understand that they were all behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah,
Oh yeah.
and it was George the Elder who really got public and everything.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of them, no, they were there, but they were not behind public about what they did. Generally speaking, there was one senator, Bush the Elder's father, I think, but otherwise, that's pretty. Basically, they were just in government and running things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. So a bunch of bureaucrats. But
largely bureaucrats. Yes,
yeah, because I know
and
that.
if you look at Bush the Elder, his positions
Uh-huh.
before he became vice president, he was one term in Congress. Then he became ambassador to the UN,
Mm-hmm.
head of the CIA,
Mm-hmm.
ambassador to China, and maybe some other two things in there. But basically, then he became vice president.
Mm-hmm.
But his only elective office had been that one term, as I think one term, maybe it was two, but basically I remember one term in the House.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That was it. He was
Yeah.
essentially a bureaucrat.
Oh, jeez.
Now now that meant that when he actually became president, he had the bureaucratic mindset.
Right.
Okay, that wasn't necessarily a bad thing. It
Mm-hmm.
meant that he was really able to handle the ending of the collapse of the Soviet Union.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he handled that brilliantly. Um, but that was I think one of the problems because he was more of a bureaucrat than a politician. He didn't know how to handle the crazies in his own party.
Right. Right.
Yeah. I mean, he let Pat Buchanan run all over him. When what he should have done was, said Pat Buchanan is not speaking. Pat Buchanan's people are not speaking. We will not mention his name. This is how we're going to run our convention. We're not going to let these crazies have a platform and make everybody hate us.
Mm-hmm.
There was, there were a couple moments in that 92 convention. One, Bob Dole said, in all of his years in public office, he had never heard of anyone giving any candidate giving the opponent a reason, giving the people a reason to vote for their opponent.
Yeah.
And the governor of Illinois at that time, Jim Edgar,
Mm-hmm.
was, of course, because he was a Republican and governor of Illinois, he was head of the Republican campaign in Illinois. And there was a shot of him during the convention just shaking his head and, this thing's going nowhere. We're going to lose by a landslide. Why are we letting these idiots talk?
Oh, jeez. Oh, funny. That is hilarious.
Oh, God. I mean, that convention was so bad. I remember voting for Bill Clinton.
Oh, God.
Yeah. I mean, the others, the Republicans had gone mad. They had just gone
mad. Right.
These people could not be allowed to hold office.
Oh, jeez. Well, you and I, we've talked about this before, the conspiracy theory behind Barbara Bush. And I tell you, I have to believe there may be something.
That I think it's I don't believe it, but I wish it were true.
Oh, I think it's hilarious. I mean, if you do a side by side, picture. Anyway, here's the conspiracy theory.
Yeah,
apparently,
tell the story.
Okay. Apparently, Barbara
I'll laugh
Bush,
too hard. You tell it.
Okay, Barbara Bush's mother was a social back in the 20s or whatever. I mean, just I think the family owned like one of the largest publishing houses or whatever. She went over to England to visit with Alister Crowley, and apparently went through a bunch of she went through they did like sex magic and all kinds of stuff. And she comes, and she's married at the time, and she comes back and she's pregnant, and gives birth to Barbara, who becomes Barbara Bush, George Singer's wife. Mm-hmm. Now, if you take a picture of Alister Crowley, you put it next to Barbara Bush, I kid you not, man, it's like a clone. It's like Alister Crowley in drag.
I had no idea that Barbara Bush was bald.
Oh man, it is freaky.
I could not resist it.
Oh boy, but I tell you, Alister Crowley, that is some weird stuff. I did not realize when his house.
It'd be cool if it were true.
Well, didn't he live near Loch Ness?
Yes, he did. Actually, he lived on the shore of Loch Ness at one time.
Yeah, and I think Jimmy Page bought his house.
And it was really very touching. Every morning, he would be going out with a bucket of fish to feed the monster. And
oh, that's hilarious. But I've heard that Jimmy Page bought the house at one time or owned it at one time, and I mean, it's and I apparently vandals have gone in there and they drew like a giant Ouija board or something along that line on Alister Crowley's floor in his bedroom or on his bed or something.
I don't pay much attention to that sort of thing.
Well, I've heard that there's a lot.
Really, as far as I'm concerned, it was only interesting when Crowley was living there. The rest of it, it's an old house in Scotland.
But I heard that like you still to this day you go in there's a lot of you can feel a negative vibe. What do you supposedly conjured up a bunch of demons or something inside that house, or
his own autobiography? He tells the stories of what he did there. Oh yeah.
Examples, please.
If I had the autobiography, I'd read them to you, but I don't have it handy at the moment.
Okay.
He did his magic there, of course.
Okay, I mean, I heard that.
As was appropriate for the Laird of Boleskine.
Okay. Oh man. And
and Keeper of the Monster.
Oh jeez.
I can't resist it. I really can't resist
it. Oh,
it.
the Scottish. Yeah. Oh God, I thought you were Sean Connery there for a second.
Oh,
But
please.
yeah, it is a it's interesting about that guy. You know, I frankly I don't know what was he what was the biggest thing he was known for. I mean, what was his claim to fame?
Basically, what he's known for is being the example of what every budding magician should not end up being.
And that is
Broke, drug addict, and living in a rooming house somewhere in England in your 70s.
oh
Yes. Um,
oh I thought he was wealthy. I thought he had a
he started wealthy.
well. I guess all that heroin costs money.
It did. And you have to understand what happened was in those days, well, when he started on the heroin, they did not realize how addictive it was, and it was a medicine.
Mm-hmm.
He came down with bronchitis,
Okay.
and the doctor prescribed the heroin to cure the bronchitis, which it did.
Okay.
In fact, when heroin was developed by Bayer, Bayer aspirin,
Mm-hmm.
and the name heroin was derived from heroic. It was so good it was heroic.
Okay.
It was supposed to be the perfect medicine.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of perfect medicines in those days. And like I say, it took care of his bronchitis. The only problem is it left him addicted to heroin. And that is what happened to Uncle Al.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
well, it definitely would affect his judgment, I would
It
think.
affected a lot of things, and he did a lot of things that would affect judgment. And sometimes you wonder if he fell on his head when he was 3 years old or something, like I did.
Yeah, that explains it. Anyway,
Oh, it's no secret. I got a dent in my skull from where I landed.
uh,
Um,
I, I thought maybe it's from the doctor trying to push you back in.
no, no,
And
no, 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 no. It was too late. But what happened was my mother was in the basement.
Mhm.
I slipped doing laundry. I slipped back past the grate that was supposed to keep me from falling down the stairs,
Uh-huh.
and I went down to see Mommy. Well, I got down to like about the third step below the basement floor, and then I fell through between the stairs and the railing,
Oh,
and I landed squack on my forehead.
wow.
Yeah. So one of these years, I have to have a brain MRI done to see really what kind of damage was done, because
Okay.
I think I got scrambled up there.
Do you think?
I'm not joking. I really do. I think something really must have got screwed up when I did that. It's just I was fortunate that whatever it was not sufficient to wreck with my actual living.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but yeah, there's clearly something weird up there.
Yeah, you may have a point.
It's called enlightenment. It's called enlightenment,
Okay.
and it's just,
Oh, geez. Yeah. I well, I don't know what to tell you there. Like I said, I think I had a concussion when I went through a windshield. It hit my forehead. I put I think it's like over 100 stitches in my forehead. And yeah, that was not a good day in my life.
that was
And
probably not one of your better days. No.
yeah, yeah, and they broke.
But hey, you were lucky. Your head
Yeah,
stayed attached to your body.
yeah. That was a good thing. And on
We
top,
knew somebody whose head didn't.
oh, geez. Well,
Yeah, Don and I knew somebody whose went through his windshield and the head did not stay attached to the body.
ouch, ouch.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the process of this, I broke my arm, and because I had a head injury, they couldn't put me under or give me any serious any kind of anesthetic. So they had to set
Mm-hmm.
my arm while with no painkillers.
Mm-hmm.
And
Not even any whiskey?
yeah, oh, jeez, I wish. Yeah, it was the Carolinas, so yeah,
Yeah,
no.
I understand. Ouch, ouch.
Yeah, yeah. I went down to the old blacksmith and set my arm.
Yep.
Yeah, and
Well, down in your part, I wouldn't be surprised in your part of the world if they used a blacksmith to do that. Yeah.
Yeah,
or the
bite down on
barber.
his piece. Yeah, bite down on his bullet. Yeah, that was like some of the worst physical pain I ever had in my entire life.
Oh, I'm sure it was.
Oh yeah. That was not a happy day.
No, I'm sure that was not one of your happier days.
No, no. Yeah, whatever. But I persevered. You know,
Obviously, you're still here.
yeah, yeah. And after that, I had yeah, I would say I don't know if they were mystical experiences or psychic or whatever, but I don't know if that head injury caused some kind of a scrambling of the brain or what have you. But I did notice that I
It certainly
was
didn't help.
yeah, it did not help. But I did notice I was probably more insightful about things. I could read situations a lot better. I don't know if that was a psychic ability that may have been a result of the head injury or what have you, but that was a very strange experience
Well,
altogether.
yeah, the dent in my forehead,
Uh-huh.
and I'll show it to you, whoever run into each other again, is
Okay.
right above
No,
my
I'm just kidding. Okay.
my
Yeah.
third eye got open, and maybe
Oh, man.
the greatest genius in the world, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Whatever mythology they come up with after I'm dead.
Oh, geez. Oh, I learned an interesting little factoid. I didn't know this at all. What's the pineal gland? I think that's how you pronounce it. It's in the back of the brain.
Yeah,
Above the okay, that has rods and cones just like eyes.
it's got all kinds of strange things. Now we generally assume it handles growth,
Hmm.
but it's got some really strange stuff in there.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which part of the brain, as you
Hmm?
understand it, handles a lot of the psychic intuition type stuff?
Um, I'm not sure, but I believe it's the temporal lobes.
Temporal lobes. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I was just wondering, like for example, in the helmet, we have I put a input plate there, or input output plate right above the crown chakra.
Yeah,
Would you like
there
to
was a
tell?
reason for that. There was
Yeah.
actually a practical reason for that. The
All right, go ahead.
original version of the helmet had the plate right over the third eye,
Okay.
and I found that to be extraordinarily uncomfortable.
Okay.
It was like an energy buildup or something there. It was just, I really couldn't wear the helmet.
Hmm.
Yeah, there's something, it just didn't feel right.
Okay.
So I figured, well, let's change this and put it to the crown chakra and see if that solves the problem.
Hmm.
And I did, and that did solve the problem. But the first helmet version of the helmet was unusable.
Oh yeah, I had a friend of mine when we were out in Las Vegas, and he took one of Josh's wands. This is the I don't know if you call it the use the force wand or whatever it is, but it had like a couple of powerful magnets.
Use the
Yeah,
force.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I don't know if it had any of the Dracula dust on the thing or not, but anyway, uh, he pointed that thing toward his third eye, and it gave him a migraine. So I don't
Hmm.
know. They just want to see what would happen. And I said, well, I guess you found out.
Yeah, that's one way to find out. Yeah.
Yeah. So what he was doing, I think it was probably just a loop. You know, kind of like when you have a microphone next to a speaker and just kind of
Feedback.
yeah feedback. Yeah. So do you think it was more of a
I
feedback?
I have no idea. I have no idea, but anything is possible.
Hmm, okay.
It
Yeah.
would
I
depend
just
a lot on the. First of all, depend on the what the wand was made out of
yeah.
and the nature of the person doing it. I mean, somebody could stand next to him, be doing the same thing, and have no effect at all.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
just don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, that was an interesting little excursion out there to Las Vegas, I have to say.
Oh, I'm sure it was.
Yeah, uh,
Yes.
yeah. I understand why it's such a. They make a lot of money there. I get it. I totally get it. And I mean, it's 24/7
Hmm.
constant moving. I just nothing against Las Vegas. It's just not my kind of a place.
Hmm.
So yeah,
When
I
I
don't know.
was younger, when I was a younger man, I probably would have enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I don't think I would now.
No. It was definitely a strange, a strange. It was a unique experience,
Yes.
especially when I went. I think when I went to the museum. I'm not going to say the guy's name on the air, but
We don't have to
yeah,
go into too many details on
yeah,
that.
yeah. When I went to that museum, I just walked out of it. I just kind of felt like, yeah, yeah. It's like one of those things, just blah. But that was a unique. That was a unique museum. A recreation of murder scenes, and I kept asking myself, how did this guy get evidence, physical evidence from a felony, convicted felon, serial killers, murderers, and actually had this stuff in his possession. How did that wind up out of the evidence vault into this guy's museum?
Well, once the case is closed, who knows what happens to that stuff?
Hmm. I was
I don't
wondering.
know.
I thought
I
that
mean,
was.
I really don't know. I will confess there are a few things that interest me less than stuff from murder sites.
Ah, okay. I mean,
Uh,
I yeah, I have some of the soil from Ed Gein's little barn where he did all his little, did his thing.
oh heavens! You
Yeah,
we
you
could have
know,
gotten you. We could have gotten you whole shovelfuls when you were up here.
oh God,
Yeah, we could have taken you and Josh out there and spade and here have a bucket full of soil
yeah, exactly. But I mean,
and
how many
bean
people?
dirt. I mean,
Yeah,
who knows
he didn't really.
what we could
You
do
know,
with it?
how many people did he kill? Like
The
one or
antique
two
machine
people?
we could make.
I mean, he didn't really kill anybody. He just dug up graves out of the graveyard. I mean, he killed what,
I think he
one or two
actually
people?
killed one person. I think one.
Okay, so basically, he was just creepy because he dug up graveyards, took the
He
bodies,
was
and made
just
furniture
crazy.
out of them. Yeah,
He was just crazy, and
yeah.
he didn't look a bit like Anthony Perkins.
No, no joke. He looked like Elmer Fudd.
Yeah, he
So,
really did look like Elmer Fudd. In fact, I think Elmer Fudd may have been modeled on him.
oh,
I'm joking because Elmer Fudd was earlier than that, but still, maybe he modeled himself after Elmer Fudd. Yeah.
I mean, they both wore the same hat and the jacket. That's the reason why I.
Well, that's how people really dressed back then. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. That wasn't just a cartoon. That's a real life.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Uh,
Elmer really. That's how if you were going hunting in the 1940s, that's how you dressed.
okay. Yeah. Be very, very
These were
quiet.
fashion plates, okay? They didn't
Yeah.
have camo.
Oh, jeez. Well, I don't know. One thing I always found interesting about that part of the country is people tent and fishing in the middle of winter. Of all things, fishing in the middle of winter. And what is the purpose? I have to look at it and think to myself, the only reason why you do that is just so you have an excuse to get drunk.
Yeah.
I just didn't. I don't know. I'm not a fisherman, but what do I know? I
I
play
don't.
golf.
I don't hunt. I don't fish.
Yeah,
Um, I used to joke and say I only hunted humans, but people started taking that seriously, so I had to
yeah,
stop.
yeah. They frown on
Oh, this is a funny
that.
story. This is a funny story. It was a running joke
Okay.
because this is Wisconsin. This is hunting country.
Hmm.
Excuse me. Well, I was going to have a minor surgery gallbladder out. Basically because it was the gallbladder that caused the damn pancreas to dissolve in the first place. So they had to go. I was having trouble.
Hmm.
And they do a test, it's a clotting test. And basically what they do is they make a little incision in your arm and they hold up this piece of paper with like a gauge on it and see how far the blood goes before it stops.
Okay.
There's only one problem. I faint at the sight of blood.
Huh.
I really do. And so they're waiting for this thing to clot, and I'm kind of starting to pass out.
Uh-huh.
So they're trying to bring me back to functioning, and the technician said, are you going hunting? Because it was beginning of hunting season next week. And because I'm out of it, at this point, I am out of it. I said, I only hunt humans. And of course, that shocked the poor technician. Then I had to, kind of backpedal like it was a joke or something. No, of course, no, I don't hunt. But
yeah.
but I mean, I was because I was just kind of floating, and coming out of my mouth. I don't. You
Oh,
that was my running joke before then. It was, it was like,
you only hunt humans. Oh God. I tell you, Chuck, that is just yeah.
it
I
was fun.
mean,
It was actually very fun. The guy's reaction was hilarious. Uh,
oh, I knew this. I knew this one Italian guy. He had to be about 6'3", 6'4". I mean, he looked like a linebacker from a pro football team. This guy was huge,
he
massive.
was Italian.
He was Italian, no joke. I mean, he's the kind of guy.
How did that happen?
I don't know.
We're all short and round. Big
He must.
noses.
Yeah, he probably bred with another. Anyway,
Must have been something got mixed in
yeah,
with the genetic material,
yeah,
obviously.
yeah, exactly.
Maybe it wasn't Italian. Maybe he was found on the doorstep of an Italian home.
He had an Italian name. Let's just go.
Yeah, well,
with
like I said, they
that.
adopted him.
Yeah, his father's name was Dominic. That's all I got to say. But yeah, he was the kind of guy he could cut your throat and not think twice about it. But if he saw one drop of his own blood, he would pass out. He was.
That's about right. I know exactly that. I know exactly how.
I mean, you could bleed all over.
I mean, it makes being diabetic fun. Believe me, because I have to test myself, and unfortunately, I can handle one drop now.
Oh, jeez.
Like, yeah.
I hate to be around you.
Oh yeah, if I cut myself, I'm in trouble.
It doesn't really bother me. I just kind of, I have accidents from time to time, like with utility knives, that kind of thing, and I'll cut a finger. It's rare, but I have been known to do it. But yeah, all I'm doing is just supplying a witness sample to the machine. But I have done that kind of thing, and I don't really think twice about it. I've been around people that are bleeding, and as long as they didn't get it on me, I didn't really care. But everybody has their own tolerance level. For different things make them a little irpy. So, what can I say? But
back in the early '60s, there were a lot of Dracula jokes, cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them was Dracula with a little test kit, so he could tell if the blood type was one he was not allergic to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh yeah, that's we were talking about. Yeah, that goes back. Blood type, Mandela effect. That's a story for another day. But we've been yapping here for about an hour. Do you want to anything else you want?
As usual.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No, I think we put everyone to sleep by now.
Yeah. Hey, like I said, this is a typical Uncle Chuckie, Dr. Mulder conversation that we have every Thursday.
Goes all over the place.
Years. Yeah. Just
we open our mouths and have no idea what will
where
come
it's
out.
Going to lead. Yeah, where it's going to lead. But no, this is the kind of thing I really enjoy talking to Chuck. He's a good, close personal friend of mine. Maybe I should seek out better friends, but
Yes, you should.
Yeah, but but no, like I said, Chuck, you really are. You're a heck of a good guy, and I want people to know this publicly. Chuck really is a good guy, and
there goes the public image.
Yeah, I know.
Down the stage.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if I trust him with my safety deposit key or nothing like that, but yeah, he's a good friend. Yeah,
well, you can certainly trust. Yes, I would certainly. And all of your passwords, I would certainly take.
Yeah. My mother's maiden name, my social security number. Yeah.
We already have that.
Oh man, but yeah, it's like I said, it's just one of those things where this just, like I said, it's just a typical conversation, just a couple of evil masterminds get together, just telling a few jokes, talking about whatever comes into our brains, and this is what it is.
Brain
So,
damaged lunatics. Yeah.
brain damaged lunatics, and so we decided just to make this public, let you guys know
Have
what
some
happened.
fun with it. Yeah.
Yeah. So trust me, it's no big mystery. So, but anyway,
Okay. So.
all right, my friend. Well, anyway, I guess I'm gonna call it an evening, and
Yeah. And
once again,
okay, I will get this up tomorrow. And good talking to you as always.
yeah, and I'll tell you what, I'll stay on after you go